Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to NEWSROOM. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 8th of September 2023, and these are the stories that we will be discussing during the course of the show. We'll begin, ladies and gentlemen, with Pakistan's commitment as far as eradicating terrorism is concerned. That has been reiterated by our Foreign Office in a briefing. The Foreign Office also hoped that the interim Afghan government will fulfill its obligations as far as curbing the influx of terrorism from across the Afghan border into Pakistan is concerned. The Torkham border, on the other hand, was closed for a second day today. Also, coming from the United States side, Joe Biden, as per the statement by the White House, is ready to help Pakistan combat the different threats. And of course, this will be a very welcome inclusion as far as Pakistan's effort on counter-terrorism are concerned. Also, the TTP Chitral incursion has been foiled. There was an official statement that came from the Chitral site in this regard. Tensions do remain at the Torkham frontier as far as the current situation is concerned. We will be discussing all that jointly in our first segment. Our second segment, ladies and gentlemen, concerns Pakistan Navy Day, that is being commemorated today all across Pakistan. The role of Pakistan Navy when it comes to the 1965 war, the 1971 war, even as far as front line of defense against all enemy forces has been laudable across the decades. Today, this Naval Day is being observed with traditional zeal and fervor. Pakistan's Navy's transition into a reckonable force, into a force that is at par with any other, is quite commendable. Also, the nation honors the heroes from the Pakistan Navy side of the 1965 war, and Pakistan's Navy's resolve to protect the maritime interests also in peacetime are also extremely important, that we will be discussing during the course of our second segment. Then we will be talking about the Pakistani rupee that continues to gain ground against the US dollar, the government's actions that we've also been highlighting in our news to curb this increase in the black market have also been laudable. Also, the rupee appreciates for the third consecutive session today, and that is good news as far as economic stability of the Pakistani rupee is concerned. Then we'll be talking about the British Queen Elizabeth II. Her first death anniversary is also being observed today in the United Kingdom and in all the different monarchies that the United Kingdom has been associated with and is still associated with. The royal family paid a tribute to the Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen Elizabeth passed away at the age of 96 on the 8th of September last year. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, for all those who love astronomy, we have a little bit of news for you. Astronomers have discovered the first bubble of galaxies. Unimaginably huge cosmic structure has been discovered. This bubble is 10,000 times wider than the Milky Way galaxy. Wonderful news. You know, the universe is so large and holds so many mysteries for us. This is just one of those. Let's begin with our first segment, ladies and gentlemen, and that concerns the tension between Afghanistan and Pakistan, what has happened in Chitral, what happened at the Torkham frontier, and also the statement by the Foreign Office and by the White House spokesperson. More the following report.
Pakistan is grappling with an increase in militant attacks emanating from across the border. Today's terrorist threat is more ideologically diverse and geographically diffuse than that of 2 decades ago. In a recent report, the UN Security Council's Counterterrorism Committee classified South Asia as a high-threat region with several states suffering attacks. Amid heightened threat environment, 12 terrorists were killed who attacked 2 Pakistani military posts located closer to Pakistan-Afghanistan border in the general area of Kalash, District Chitral. According to the ISPR, a large group of terrorists equipped with the latest weapons attacked 2 Pakistani military posts in the area. The valiant soldiers fought bravely and repulsed the attacks, inflicting heavy casualties to the terrorists. During the intense exchange of fire, 4 brave soldiers, having fought gallantly, embraced Shahadat. At least 2 people, including a Frontier Corps official, were injured when a gun battle erupted between Pakistan and Afghan border forces, shutting the busiest trade crossing between the 2 countries at Torkham. Separately, 5 terrorists of the band at TTP were killed during an operation by the Balochistan Counter-Terrorism Department. Caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haqqar has reaffirmed Pakistan's unshakable resolve to eradicate terrorism. It is pertinent to mention here that the interim Afghan government is expected to fulfill its obligations and deny the use of Afghan soil by terrorists for perpetuating the acts of terrorism against Pakistan.
Dr.Syed Akhtar Ali Shah, who is a senior analyst, joins us online. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, to have joined us. Dr. Saab, when you look at the different issues that Pakistan is confronting at the same time, all issues that are more or less related to Afghanistan, why have we come to this point? Why is the TTP being emboldened, whether it be by the Afghan Taliban or by other forces? And what recourse should Pakistan now take forward?
The border skirmishes are concerned, there is a long history as far as Durand Line is concerned. But Pakistan and Afghanistan, they have to realize and comprehend the problem and sit together at the diplomatic level, at the foreign office level, in order to draw standing operating procedures in order to avoid such kind of skirmishes as occurred on Torkham border. It can be easily because at times a low-level official commits some error or mistake which leads to a bigger problem. So in order to arrest that problem, it's most essential, and I think that both the governments have realized this. And the statement of the spokesperson of Afghanistan also indicates this, that the government of Pakistan and Afghanistan would join together in order to resolve such issues in future. As far as the incursion of the Taliban, Pakistani Taliban in Chitral is concerned, I would say that as far as disaster management is concerned, one of the most essentials is the preparedness. So in this context, I would give full marks to the security forces in Pakistan, whether the army or the police or the border police in Chitral, that they had the advance information regarding entries. And they had ably combated them. And according to the good reports are that the Pakistani Taliban, after being after having faced the resistance, have returned to Afghanistan. So this is a temporary solution under the Doha Agreement and under the international treaty. It is the fundamental responsibility of the government of Afghanistan to take positive actions to control Pakistani Taliban or any other group using their soil against Pakistan.
Dr. Syed Akhtar Ali Shah, when it comes to Afghanistan's responsibility, if we remember well, the interim foreign minister of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, in his very first address to the media, said that no such force will be used that is present inside Afghanistan against any other neighborhood country. But since then, we've seen quite the opposite happen. Time and time again, even now what has happened in Chitral is a testament of the negation of what the interim foreign minister of Afghanistan said at that time. Pakistan has time and again talked to the Afghan side. There have been delegations that have gone to the Afghan side. Then there was a statement by the Afghan Supremo who talked about the difference between jihad and what the Taliban were doing in Pakistan. That was contrary to the values of jihad. Despite all of that, the incursions continue. What is the basic issue?
The basic issue, if we look at that, it is the grand design as far as those organizations are concerned. They want to establish an Islamic State based on their own interpretation. So this is one of the main cause of conflict as far as state of Pakistan is concerned and those organizations. But having said this, I would look at that recently Joe Biden's statement offering cooperation to Pakistan on the issue of terrorism is welcoming, and there is a ray of hope. And both Pakistan and United States, the Pakistan can provide as far as human resources concerned regarding intelligence on ground, and US has the advantage of technology. They have got the air surveillance, satellites. So through satellite images, material evidence can be provided then to the government of Afghanistan regarding the movements of the terrorist organization inside Afghanistan.
All right. Now, Dr. Syed, Dr. Ali Shah, when you look at Pakistan-US counterterrorism collaboration, that could be very good. And as has been said in the US spokesperson's statement, that they say, quote unquote, we're going to continue to work with Pakistan to the degree that they're comfortable with. There's a lot of danger that's still posed to the Pakistan people, and the president is committed to continue to work with Pakistan. This said, there is the issue of the weaponry that was left. That, of course, the spokesperson has denied. But there is a huge evidence of that weaponry worth $7 billion US that was left behind in Afghanistan that now these forces are using. How can you limit the use of such weaponry by the terrorist outfits? In your point of view, should there be a collaboration between the US and Pakistan to this effect, or should there be some other measures taken?
As far as the US weapons are concerned, it's a fact that the Pakistani Taliban, they had also been fighting along with the Afghan Taliban. And when the US left Afghanistan, so it fell into the hands of the Taliban, and the Pakistani Taliban were part of them. Obviously, such kind of weapons have also been fallen into their hands. Now, under the international law, the states have got the right of hot pursuit, but in principle, it is there, but to pursue it is always very difficult. So the only option left with us is to exercise diplomatic pressures through the international community. And in this context, United States of America, recently the Afghan Taliban, through the Qatar government, they have been contacts, and there is some understanding has reached between US and the government of Afghanistan. So I believe with further such engagements, the Taliban would realize that unless they desist from acts of terrorism and perform their duties as far as actions against the terrorist organization is concerned, they would not get their objectives at the international level.
All right. Do you feel there should be an involvement of more countries in the region, more international players, as far as curbing this terrorist influx of outfits such as the TTP, such as the ISKP and the ETIM are concerned? Because if this continues in the same way, it will not only affect Pakistan but other countries as well. Should there be a joint resolve, a joint effort?
First of all, I will take, for instance, United States of America and the European Union. They are very clear, they are very apprehensive about transnational terrorism, which is multidimensional. So they would never like the re-emergence of such organization having the potential to disturb international peace or the social order in Europe or United States of America. Similarly, if you look at the recent incursion of Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan into Chitral, so this area is very vital as far as strategically is concerned. The Wakhan corridor connects Pakistan, China, and Tajikistan. And if there is a growing influence of such organization, so there would be instability. It will also threaten the regional powers in this geography. So they all have to join together in order to combat such dangers.
All right, and of course, more countries could also join in, like the Central Asian countries, like China, like other countries that could be affected in the long run by such outfits. Coming to Afghanistan, I'd like to understand something, Dr. Shah. We have had so many talks, and then there was also in the past a lot of hue and cry when Pakistan was creating the border, creating the fence between the Afghan and Pakistan border, on the, in fact, Pakistan-Afghan border. Now that we have also seen what happened at Torkham, the reasonings behind it, Afghanistan has its own version. We have given our own point of view as far as what led to the Torkham clashes. But in the long run, how should both Afghanistan and Pakistan decide to work it out? How important is Afghanistan's responsibility as well in this regard?
In this regard, I would say that both the countries, the foreign offices, they should have consistent meetings and then evolve mechanism in order to, whenever such posts are created on either side, and SOP should be developed for that. And before erecting such posts, the other country must be informed in order to avoid any misunderstanding leading to such skirmishes.
All right. Dr. Shah, also a lot of pinpointing has been done on the Afghan Taliban for emboldening the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan after the US forces left. Do you feel this connect between the Afghan Taliban and terrorist outfits such as the TTP will continue, or some kind of a wedge can be made between these two in the light of all the incidents that have been happening in Pakistan?
Uh, Ideologically, I would say they are the same. They are two sides of the same coin. But at the same time, uh, Tehreek-e-Taliban Afghanistan, uh, they are having a government, they are a state, I would say. So they have their own national interest. But where national interests, the question of lesser interest is there. So always the national interest has precedence of or the ideology. So whenever the Afghan Taliban feel that their national interests are threatened, they would then curtail the activities of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan.
All right, so let's see how things bode along in the coming weeks. Nevertheless, terror activities, as you very well know, have soared by 79% during the first half of 2023. This was a report that was published by Pakistan Institute for Conflict and Security Studies. In your point of view, what are the major factors that have been impacting Pakistan's security, and is Afghanistan one of those major factors?
You have mentioned the regional factors.
Yes, exactly. I'm talking of terror activities in Pakistan that have soared by 79%. When the major factors, regional, national, international behind it, do you feel Afghanistan is one of those major ones?
Afghanistan, of course, at the moment is one of the major factors because the safe havens as far as the terrorist organizations, whether it's the Islamic State of Khorasan, whether it's the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, are concerned. The other splinter courts, of course, also are in Afghanistan. So for their nucleus, their leadership is sitting there. They are planning, they are organizing, and they are executing. So they have this advantage. So Afghanistan is one of the basic factors as far as the current terrorism in Pakistan is concerned.
All right. Thank you so very much, Dr. Syed Akhtar Ali Shah Saab, senior analyst, to have joined us and to have talked to us about this tension between Afghanistan and Pakistan, with the TTP being one of the major reasons behind it, and what needs to be done, whether it be the Torkham border clashes, whether it be what happened in Chitral, or whether it be the whole security element inside of Pakistan, how both these two countries can work together in order to thwart the activities of elements or outfits such as the TTP or the ISKP. Only time will tell whether Afghanistan will eventually relent to cooperate fully with Pakistan on these important matters. Let's come to our second story, and that concerns Pakistan Navy Day that is being celebrated, commemorated all across Pakistan today. The role of Pakistan Navy is paramount, has been very important, whether it be in wartime or in peacetime. More in the following report.
While the Indo-Pakistan War in 1965 saw Pakistan Air Force gaining superiority in air combat that gave Pakistan Army to fight with willpower, Pakistan Navy did not lag behind in engaging Indian flotilla and bombarded Indian radar station at Dwarka. Operation Dwarka will be long remembered as of Pakistan Navy's courageous expeditions. As on that day in 1965, the Pakistan Navy rose to the occasion, ever ready to perform its national commitment of defending the sea frontiers of Pakistan. The basic role of Pakistan Navy is to secure control of an area of the sea from any belligerent and containing enemy ships from approaching the coast. Pakistan Navy was already in state of high alert, providing seaward defense, and within few minutes the ship cast away to perform the most sacred and singular duty of safeguarding its sea frontiers from Indian aggression. Hard work over the past years had paid dividends. Our officers and sailors never allowed the numerical superiority and weight of the armaments to affect their morale. Drawing inspiration from the unparalleled conduct of 1965 war heroes, the naval personnel displayed personal example of valor during the national catastrophes thereafter. Pakistan Navy today has become a responsible four-dimensional force: surface ships, aircraft, submarines, and the Special Service Group of Marines. Pakistan Navy is boosting these four components through intensive training, induction of new sophisticated sensors, and equipment in the line of modern trends, especially surveillance through maritime unmanned air vehicles. Pakistan Navy will significantly add to the combat potential of its fleet. Today, Pakistan Navy is proudly defending the sea frontier as well as protecting the maritime interest of Pakistan. Anam Shahzad, PTV World News.
Now, to discuss more on Pakistan Navy Day, we have been joined by a very important person who has been part of the 1965 as well as the 1971 wars. He is Vice Admiral retired Ahmad Tasnim. He is a 1965 and 1971 war veteran. Let me tell you a little bit about him before we start our conversation. He has fought both in the Indo-Pak wars in 1965 and 1971. He was a submarine officer, displayed unparalleled valor and heroism in both the wars, earned the coveted award Sitara Jurrat and the Bar. On the special occasion of Defence and Martyrs Day, he was also requested to share his memories about the two wars, and now we have him with us in our show. Vice Admiral retired Ahmad Tasnim Saab, thank you very much to have joined us. It's a very auspicious day, the Pakistan Navy Day, and we hold our Navy extremely close to our hearts because of its efforts that it has made to defend our country. My first question regards the 1965 war. You were there. Tell us a little bit about the nation's zeal, its passion, its fervor in the 1965 war.
Well, let me thank you very much for having me on the program. And let me tell you with some naval humor, it should be naval night, not Navy Day, because the bombardment at Dwarka was done at the midnight between 7th and 8th. So that's just passing. But the resolve of the nation, as I was 30-year-old, I can see, I have never seen such a united nation with such enthusiasm and acting as a source for us who are fighting at sea, source of encouragement and a source of encouragement to deliver, which we did. Thank you.
All right. I would like to also want you to share some of the details concerning Operation Dwarka. What were your first-hand memories of it? What did you see? What did you observe?
Well, actually, I was on board Razi submarine off Bombay at 150 feet. However, the facts are, and I'm very happy that we are remembering our veterans who participated in this very daring. So I'll briefly say that this operation was planned by our CNC at that time, Admiral Khan, who was a very courageous, aggressive, and a very fine leader. Under the command of, under him was the commander of Pakistan Fleet, Commodore Anwar, and the people who participated were Captain Lodi, Captain Hanif, Aziz, Commander Malik, Commander Hussain, Commander Hamid Aslam, Commander Shamsid, Commander Qadir. They were commanding the 7 ships who participated. Briefly, these 7 ships, they actually on 7th, 1800, which is 6 p.m., were 120 nautical miles from Dwarka. And at midnight, 6 o'clock, they put on high speed, and at midnight, they were 5.5 nautical miles from Dwarka. For the benefit of our viewers and our listeners, let me tell you that 12 mile is the nautical limit and international waters are after 12 mile. So this is well within the territorial water. So this is exactly is very pertinent. You got in and you beat them. So these ships got to 5 miles and there were 7 ships, 27 guns, and they were asked to fire a total of 350 rounds, which they did. Within half an hour, they came back and high speed came back to their initial position. There were no resistance, nothing at all. Some aircraft sorties they saw, otherwise there were no resistance. I would be very honest saying that I think the enemy was caught sleeping.
All right.
Yes, the objective of this was, very briefly, was this. First of all, morale, because Ghazi submarine, which I was serving, was there, and all the naval units of Indians were in the harbor not coming out. So it was really to coax them, put them to a bit of a shame that you please come out. And I think they did come out later. One of them we attacked on 21st September. Second was morale of our own forces, our own people, and demoralize the enemy. Third most important was that there was a direction beacon and there was also a radar which was guiding and giving a lot of important data for those Indian aircraft which were attacking our Karachi and nearby others. So I think they were knocked off. This is briefly. Thank you.
Vice Admiral Ahmad Tasnim Saab, also I'd like to understand, in 1967 you took over the command of PNS Ghazi, but in the 1971 war you did manage to deceive the Indian warships. How did you manage to do that? Could you give us a little brief on that?
Very simply by firing a torpedo and sinking it, but the details are that we were off Bombay and had already done a patrol in Hangul earlier in about August and obtained a lot of operation intelligence which I used later. But they came to know that submarine would be here, so they were avoiding that area. So I took special permission to move to north area, abreast New Head or Gujarat, and there they were in shallow waters. Now, I always believe the luck favors the brave who take risk. So they were in shallow water, 60 meters, 65 meters, and the Hangul class submarine cannot operate less than 100 for their own safety and all that. So we took risk. We went and attacked them at 65 meters. First ship, Kirpan, we fired due to some defect in torpedo. It didn't explode. Second ship was Kukri, which was a ship of the squadron commander, Captain Mahendranath Mullah. This shot we fired from the stern, from behind. This exploded right under the magazine where there were 60 tons of explosive, and the ship broke its back and sank less than 120 seconds. They lost about 170 to 180 people in that, and about 60 to 70 were recovered the next day. This is the brief.
All right. I'd like to also refer to the 1965 war and what you said while quoting General Ayub's speech, and I'd like to first say what he said in Urdu and then translate in English. He said, Hindustani hukmaran shayad abhi nahi jante ki unhone kis qaum ko lalkara hai. The Indians leaders do not know now who they have tried to come across ask to come in war in against. What do you feel, what was the sentiment going on amongst the Pakistani personnel, whether they be from the armed forces, whether they be from the Navy or the Air Force, when statements like these were being emanated, and what was that time like for the personnel of the Pakistan Navy?
Well, it was for a double actually effect or double pleasure or double for me, because earlier on, just 2 years earlier, I was President of Ayub Khan's ADC. From there I left, I took his leave and I went and joined Ghazi. And now I was underwater in Ghazi listening to his speech. So it had double effect on me. What happened was this, that we got a small message, I think it was at noon, about half an hour earlier, that President going to make a speech. You kindly listen to it. So in submarine, we don't come on surface, we just raise a small antenna and we listen. Well, he spoke in Fauji Urdu, no doubt about that, but it was very simple Urdu. It really gave us absolutely Josh, and it gave us the Jazba, and it gave us everything. All our crew heard it, and absolutely it had a positive effect on us. Positive effect on us. And I'm so glad he spoke in Urdu and a very simple language. And what you have translated is very correct, but it was in Urdu. The boys and the crew heard it, understood it, and their morale was really boosted. Thank you.
All right, finally, sir, I'd like to understand, you being a war veteran, highly decorated war hero, what kind of message would you like to give to today's Pakistan, to today's youth on this auspicious day, that is the Pakistan Navy Day?
Well, I would like to give a very simple message which always I would give. I say, boys, always remember your history and your veterans who made that history, because if you forget them, then the history will forget you. And today, in this Navy Day, I've been very happy personally that I saw a lot of veterans from 65. Of course, they were not super veterans like me. They were 2 to 4 years younger than me, like Admiral Shimon, I couldn't see all because I have an eye problem. I was very happy that they were traced and they were asked to give their comments and their feelings. And it is absolutely important. Look at Europe. They even today talk the trench warfare on the border of France and Belgium. So you must respect these veterans, listen to them, and I think they are a beacon of hope. And I would say that everything. No, my message is now to the young in the Navy is that we had very difficult times. There were no new ships, only the submarine and the aircraft were new. The naval leadership, frankly, for the last 15 to 20 years, my absolute compliments to them, have done very well. That they have managed to get funds from the government and got these surface ships, three-dimensional with warfare capability from various sources. My message is, boys, these are expensive ships. We are a poor country. Take care of them and deliver. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Vice Admiral retired Ahmad Tasnim, a war veteran of 1965 and 1971, and of course a coveted hero as far as the Pakistan Navy is concerned, talking to us on this important day, that is the Pakistan Navy Day. Let's come to our last three stories. The first concerns the dollar price control that we've been seeing in the last few days. The rupee continues to gain strength also today and yesterday, rising by over rupees 2 to the dollar in the interbank market, by rupees 5 in the open market. In the last three sessions, the dollar has lost about rupees 25 in the open market. The decline could be an impact of its fast depreciation in the open market. The closing rate of the dollar at rupees 307 compared to rupees 312 a day before is how should I say, looks towards economic stability as far as a country like Pakistan is concerned. Our next story concerns Queen Elizabeth II. Ladies and gentlemen, today, the 8th of September, is the first death anniversary of the monarch, the former monarch of the British monarchy, the Queen Elizabeth II. Gun salutes across the United Kingdom marked the first anniversary. Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning sovereign, passed away at the age of 96 on the 8th of September last year at Balmoral Castle, her Scottish summer retreat, after a 70-year reign. King Charles III, who is now the new king, has recorded a message, released a favorite photograph of Elizabeth II to mark the first anniversary on his mother's death. Buckingham Palace also released a photograph of the Queen taken by British photographer Cecil Beaton in October of 1968 to mark the anniversary. This, of course, is an important day for the British monarchy and for the British people as such, and that is why there was a lot of commemoration, a lot of activities that happened today. Our last item today concerns astronomy, the universe, and all the mysteries that it has, and we are only deciphering those mysteries little by little. Now, a team of international astronomers have discovered the first bubble of galaxies that are 1,000,000 light years wide. Can you imagine 1,000,000 light years? A billion, not even a million, a billion light years wide. The bubble is 10,000 times wider than the Milky Way galaxy, and we don't even know how big that Milky Way galaxy is. This bubble is a fossil from the time of the Big Bang 13 billion years ago, when the universe was formed, as has been stated by Cullen Howlett. He said we weren't looking for it, but the structure is so huge that it spilled to the edges of the sector of the sky that they were analyzing at that time. Many known structures such as a Sloan Great Wall, Booth's supercluster, which actually form part of this bubble, are dwarfed by this enormous discovery. This bubble is centered approximately 820 million light years away from our own galaxy, that is the Milky Way, in what astronomers now call the nearby universe. Maybe someday we'll be able to visit this nearby universe, through different TV shows that we've seen that have now become actual reality. Maybe the realities that will be formed in the next decades will also be that of teleporting and going to other galaxies, and who knows what the next decades have in store for us. We keep our minds open as far as that is concerned. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end of today's newsroom. It's Friday, so it's the last show of the week. We'll see you inshallah on Monday with new stories, segments that pertain to us, you and Pakistan. Till then, stay safe and have a wonderful weekend. Allah Hafiz.